Hello, in this video we're going to look at Assessment 2 and we can look at Part 3, which is install and configure the Ubuntu desktop operating system. So 3.1, install and configure according to the business requirements, and when that's been successfully done, place a text file on the desktop with your name as the file name and take a screenshot. So here I have installed Ubuntu, and I'm just going to log in with my usual password. Okay, so what I need to do is to place a text file. Can I just create a new text file? No, but I can create a LibreOffice file. Actually, I wonder whether we've got a text file. There's a text editor there. So let's just go text editor. And so I'm just going to put testing. And I'm going to save the current file. I'm going to put it on the desktop and I'm going to call it my name. So, and hit the save button and exit out. That was the LibreOffice writer that I was starting up. There's the text file. So that's all I really need on here. So I'm going to hit the Control E and I'm going to save that onto the host's desktop, and I'm going to import that here from the device. Go to the desktop and pick the VirtualBox, install, and you can see that I've got the Martin Watman text file on there. So that's task 3.1. Task 3.2, they want to see bridging, so we could go network and bridge that out there. We probably need to show that actually. Actually, let's create the IP address first. Let's go terminal, and I'm just going to do ping, because I want us to ping somewhere. Okay, so let's go ping. Let's do a let's create the network connection first. So we've bridged to there. If we have a look at the settings, and we probably needed to have a look, not so much at those settings, but in here, the wired connection settings. And that will tell us what our IP address is. So we can see that we're bridged out. We've got 192.168.1.26 IP address with our gateway as 1.254. So if we could ping that, that would go away to showing that. If I go ping 192.168.1.254, we can see that we're pinging it. I'll hit Control C to stop it. So we can see that we're pinging the local gateway address. So that's this address here. And if we can show via our network settings that it's bridged and put all of that together, I'm going to use the green shot. So here's our Ubuntu and I'm going to copy to the clipboard and put it in here. That shows the ping, it shows the bridging. What it's not showing yet is out to the internet, so let's go Control V and we'll resize this to a decent size. It shows a lot of what we need. I just need to now put internet page. Okay. Okay, so don't need that either. So I'm just going to leave this up, and I'm also going to show out to Google. So we go to Google, I'll do images, I'll do cat. Okay, so we've got pictures of cats. And if I put this up as well, what I'm going to do is can I go clear screen? No. There'd be a clear function. CLS is a function actually in Windows, not in Linux, so there'd be one. LS is list. Is it clear screen? Nope. Okay, I'll find it out later. It's not really important at the moment. Let's go ping www.google.com.au. So we name resolve and then it pings it. So we've got name resolution back to IP address and then a ping with a response time. Okay, and we've got out to the internet and showing cats. Okay, let's go Control E and let's save that to the desktop, and we only need to add that to here, pictures from this device, desktop, get the latest screen cap and change the size of it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's put that to there. Download and install all required patches to the operating system. Take screenshots. Okay, so let's kill that. Close all the tabs. We can kill that as well. And I'm not sure whether it's that one or that one. It's one of those two. Software and updates. Okay. So okay, so we can see here what we've actually got, which is modify the system settings to show that the operating system in Ubuntu is continually updated. So we're going to do all updates, daily check, download and install automatically, that sort of thing. So Control E, back to the desktop. And we need to actually run update downloadable from that server for Australia. Close. Okay. So I think this is basically the configuration, which is what we need. Okay. And then the other one was probably the one that ran it. Yep. So I'm going to include that first screenshot. Insert picture from device, desktop, pick that one, and let's change the size of that, put in a couple of spaces. So I'm going to install it now, 1.2 megabytes. Provide the authentication, show the details. So at the moment this is number one, download and install all the patches, take a screenshot once it's been successfully done. So that'll come in here. So some of the things are actually LibreOffice. So it's not just the operating system, it's also at the applications as well. Update the application, so I probably should take a picture of this as well. So we can see here LibreOffice is being updated, configuring it. Okay, so the software updater. So let's go Control E and save that to the desktop. And we'll hit restart now. So these are the updates. So I think I could probably install that one there. Insert picture, device, desktop. I wonder whether the previous one shows me what I want as well. Back to desktop. I'm pretty sure that's showing that LibreOffice is being updated. Yep. Okay, so we'll make that as part of it as well. Okay. This screenshot here probably could also be up in here as well. Anyway, let's just log in. Okay, so let's run that again and see what happens. So it says that all the software is up to date. I might screen capture that and stick it up in here. Okay. Okay, so up there. So back to here. Let's go Control E and save it to the desktop. And in here, insert. Roughly, yep, okay. So in here it says use some of the applications. Place an icon for each desktop application on the desktop. I haven't done that. So let's try that as well, shall we? Adding to favorites puts it on here. That removes it from favorites. Okay. I think if we go files, let's go other applications. So what happens if you go computer, binaries, is there one here for calc? Not specifically, no. Okay, go to the files and other locations, computer, the user, sharing, and applications. Here's all the desktop icon sort of things. So we're looking for the LibreOffice. Okay. Here's the LibreOffice stuff. So I'm going to click on Draw, Impress, Writer. We could do Math as well. Look, I think those four things would be okay. Copy to the desktop. Okay, so I've just put all these things here, and they're really just configuration files at the moment. So the traditional way of doing this is to just go hit allow launching. But I think in here we have to actually look at the permissions and allow executing the file as a program. Yeah. And then we can allow launching. And we've now got the icon. Okay, so let's, same thing, permissions, allow the executing as a program, and then allow launching. It's a bit of a process, isn't it? Allow launching, properties, permissions, allow execution, and then allow launching. Okay, so I think that's the, I mean, if you double click on it, it'll run LibreOffice calculator. Yep, so it all works. There is another way of looking at, instead of putting it on the desktop as an icon like this, we can actually put it in the, essentially what's like the taskbar. Let me get rid of that. If I go to the applications, we've got some of these things, we've already got these things here. Okay, so we could right mouse click on this and add it to the favorites, which puts it over on the Windowsy type taskbar. Add to favorites, add to favorites, and add to favorites. That's what I would do. Obviously there's a limit to how many things you can put in this taskbar. I mean, it does roll down, so you can roll it up and down as needs be. So if I put, for example, the calculator in there as well, and the calendar in there as well, and exit it out of here, then you can hit the middle roll button on the mouse and you can roll up and down. So if I roll down, you can see the calculator and the calendar that I put on there last. So you can roll up and down the list. So there's sort of like two different ways of playing with it, putting it in the essentially like the taskbar, which you can roll up and down. You can have this bar as long as you like, or having it as an icon on the desktop. The icon on the desktop's sort of a little bit clunky. Anyway, it works, so that's the main thing. So what we need to do is put a screen capture of that in here, which was a number 1 actually. So if I just okay, so what I need is a screen capture of this. So I'm going to go Control E, whoops, wrong. In here I need to go Control E. And let's go desktop. And in here, let's go insert picture, this device, desktop. And put it in sort of like that. Okay. Control Enter will put it on the next page. Okay, let's hit this save on this so far. Okay. So, configure the Office application, word processing to use the Australian dictionary, spreadsheet to use English preference to English Australian as the default, and then the browser in Google search engine. Well, we don't have a Google search engine, but we can use the Firefox one to do the same thing. Okay, so let's go to the word processing first, which is writer. Okay, probably edit, no, maybe tools, down to options. Here with the language settings, languages. Okay, so the user interface is currently set to English USA, but the locale setting is set to Australia. Currency separator, default languages is set to English Australian, so that's what you would do. We've already done it actually. So language support, writing aids, have we got the dictionary? Okay. Language module, user defined dictionaries, options. It's all in English Australian anyway, so let's go. Yeah, we've got English Australia already there, so let's go Control E, save that to the desktop, and insert picture to this device, desktop, latest, and that cut is going to go here, Control V, and I'm going to change the size of that to something like that. Okay, so that's word processing. Let's get out of that. Let's go cancel and exit out. I mean, when we installed the operating system, we told it that the language was going to be English Australian anyway. So I think this just picks up on the default language that's preferred out of the operating system to start with. So let's open the calculator. This is for number 2. Set language preference, tools, options, language settings, languages, and again we've got the default set to Australian English. Languages in documents set, so here again we would set the default Australian English. Control E, and we would go save that to the desktop, and we would go insert picture from the device, desktop, and we would resize this back. It's roughly the same size as that. And then we go to number 3, which is set the browser software to open Google search engine as the home page and a blank for all new pages. Okay. So let's cancel out of that. The browser software, so it doesn't specify which browser, just says one of them. We've got Firefox here. So if I go to the menu and have a look at the settings, home, so home page and new windows, so we've got new tabs here. It says the new home, this is the home page, and blank for new pages, so we can go a blank page there, and a custom URL there, which we're going to use http://www.google.com.au will do, which is that one. Okay, so I think what we would do is capture that, Control E, send that to the desktop, and insert it in our document. And change the size of it. Roughly, that's about right. Okay, so here we're asking to, this is on 3.6, we're asking to restore the local data files from the USB drive. Okay, So if I look at task 1.4 and look at the locations for all of this, let's have a quick look back at 1.4. 1.3, 1.4, Windows. Okay, so here it is. That's for the Windows, this is for the Ubuntu. Okay, so assuming that we had back, these were all the old locations and they come back to here. Yeah, so you're copying, pasting from these. We haven't done this on an old version of Ubuntu. What we've got is the stuff that we backed up from the old version of Windows. Okay, so can I put, or can I retrieve files that I had backed up to a USB drive back into Ubuntu? So if I had backed up all of this stuff, could I retrieve it from the USB storage device? So the first thing to do for us is to go to devices and go USB and click on the verbatim store and go. Okay, it said it failed to attach the USB to the virtual machine. Okay, I wonder why. USB settings. Okay, it doesn't have the ability to enable a adds new USB filter with all fields initially set to empty strings. Match any USB. Okay, so let's go new filter. Okay, so we've added a new filter, device, USB. Still not going to attach it. USB, don't you love it? It's got it on there. My problem is here is that the USB controller does not seem to be enabled at all. Okay, so I'm going to go and have a quick look to see if I can find a fix for that. So I'm going to, we'll see how we go. And let's go back on our sheet to 3.6, I think was where we were at. 3.6, yep. Yep. Okay, we want a screenshot in there. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and attempt to get this not to be grey. To do that, I'm going to go to Devices and insert the Guest Edition CD, which comes up, and we're going to run it. Put our usual password in. So this is copying the Guest Editions installer modules. For Linux. There it is. Guest Editions for Linux. Okay, it says running kernel modules will not be replaced until the system is restarted. Turn to close this window. So I'm thinking that means I need to restart this computer. So let's go power off, restart. Let's restart it. if I can't mount the USB drive via devices USB, then I might attempt to share the folders instead, and share a folder that's actually on the thumb drive, the attached thumb drive to the host machine. So currently our host machine has an attached, oof, no it doesn't. Okay, that might be what the problem is, that the thumb drive is already attached to another computer. Okay, so it's probably my Windows 10 machine. So I'm going to need to look at the settings for that. USB, can't see it. Settings, USB, can't see it. Settings, nope, can't see it. Okay, so maybe I don't. If I go to USB, yes it does, see, it does actually have it. So I'm going to untick it, which then hands it back to the host operating system, which means the host operating system now sees it. Well, no I don't. Interesting. Okay, but I definitely unticked it from there. Devices, USB, no, it doesn't have it. Devices, USB, doesn't have it. Devices, USB, definitely doesn't have it. Okay. And the firewall definitely doesn't have it. Devices, USB, doesn't have it. Okay, so let's try our Ubuntu. Once I log in, I still think the fact that the USB was grayed out. See, it's now seeing it. It's finding it. Okay. The screen size is very small. Wonder what happened there. Okay. So I'm going to eject the drive out of that, and I'm going to display settings. I think what happens is when you install the VirtualBox Guest Editions, it inserts a graphics driver which changes the resolution. So let's put that back to a slightly bigger. Apply. Keep the changes. Okay, so kill that. And the 16 gig thumb drive is now available, and we can see the user Yoda 1 and Yoda 2 as copied from the Windows machine at one point. So assuming that we had copied all the user's data from previous versions of Ubuntu, or then we would be able to retrieve it using this methodology for copying the files back to the original location. So what I'm going to do is just prove that you can copy back off the drive. I'm not going to worry about either of these two profiles because these were Windows profiles, but I'm going to copy back, say, the wallpaper folder. I'm just going to copy, and I'm just going to paste it to the hard drive, to the desktop actually, paste. And if I have a look inside there, I'll find all the pictures. So I could double click on Splash, for example, and I get an image view or picture of that JPEG file. So yeah, you can definitely retrieve stuff from the 16 gig drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open that. Open. Or I've already got it open. I've got it open here. That's a bit silly of me. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is just change the size of this and show that I was able to copy the wallpaper folder to there off the 16 gig USB drive. Okay, so we're just going to go Control E and save that to the desktop of the host machine. And I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to import previous save files from the USB. So I'm just going to go insert pictures from the desktop. Pick that one. And I'll just change the size of it a bit. But we can see the 16 gig USB drive, we can see the Windows wallpapers, and we can see user folders and all that sort of stuff. And there's the Windows folder that I copied to the desktop of the Ubuntu machine. Okay, 3.7, connect the Ubuntu to the printer on the network, take screenshots, configure the printer to have environmentally friendly settings, test that you're able to print from Ubuntu, take screenshots. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put the picture there. Okay, so what we need to do is go to the settings. Let's see if we've got our settings in here. There's the settings. We probably could have got to the settings up here as well. Yeah, there's a settings up there as well. Okay, so what we're after, there's printers. It's already got a printer there. Okay, let's unlock and go. Let's get rid of that printer, remove printer, there we go. Has been deleted. Okay, so it's there. So what we want to do is we want to add a printer. Okay, so it's searching for printers. It can see that on the network, or we could enter in an IP address. It's got an address, IP, TCP local, or we can use CUPS, which is just a really basic driver built into Linux. So it's seeing my printer on the network. It's just essentially doing an IP scan of my network and finding any printer. So if I went to 192.168.1.2, that's the printer on my network, and it finds the printer. Okay, so it's there. I'm going to add that printer. Okay, so the printer's there, it's ready, and I can use this printer by default, and I've got options and details and things like that. So connect it to the printer. I'm going to do a Control E and save that to the desktop and import that back into our documentation. There's pictures, device, back to your desktop. Get the very last screen capture, insert that in and then resize it. So I'll do that, put a couple of spaces, and we'll look at some of the options that we can do on here in order to make this environmentally friendly options. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So we'll just Okay, so now we just need to, put it back in. We need to try it environmentally friendly. Okay. Printer, view the print queue. Okay, so that's okay. Unlock. So if I've unlocked it, can I? Yes, look at its properties. Okay. Okay, so I can print a test page. Settings. Policies. Enable accepting jobs shared. Banner page none. So that would be no banner page on here. Not all printers would have that feature anyway. Access control, printer options, two-sided I would put on a portrait mode. In container levels, no. Job options. Mirror. Okay. Printer options. So I've got two-sided. Print quality, I might go to... Okay. You might go to monochrome or something like that. Let's switch this to A4 probably. So I think on in Windows version of this, I set it to two-sided printing, and that was, I think, all I could do. So if we take a screenshot of that and stick it in there, that constitutes environmentally friendly settings. So let's go Control E and save it to the desktop. And import it. Let's just go, yep, a couple of spaces there. Picture, device, desktop. Bring it down, that one. And let's make it a bit smaller. There we go. Okay, that's 3.7. Okay, so now we're up to, let's go Control Enter Part 4. Okay, so that ends the video for this section for the Ubuntu basic setup. Okay, and the next video will be Part 4. Okay, so let's go